Right, then the actual film, we're going to hear a clip. This is where we are with Emily Blunt. She's at an Alcoholic Anonymous meeting explaining what's been going on.
I'm here because I woke up covered in blood. And I had bruises all over my arm, and it's usually from when I've fallen and someone's helped me up. My husband, he used to tell me what I'd done the night before. And I learned when you wake up like that, you just say you're sorry. You just say you're sorry for what you did, and you're sorry for who you are. And you're never going to do it again. But you do. You do it again.
Emily Blunt in a clip from The Girl on the Train. It's finally here.
Finally here.
Thank the Lord.
Yes, thank the Lord. Based on the best-selling book from last year by Paula Hawkins, which was pretty much a phenomenon in the UK. Loads of people read it, and it was the Goodreads Book of the Year by their readers, and it's basically become part of the pop culture thing here now because quite a lot of people read it, and it's supposedly a decent book. Yeah. So, and I should give it a read.
Sure,
and a year later, we've got the film, directed by Tate Taylor, who did The Help. And if you don't know what the crack is with that, basically in the film and the book, Emily Blunt plays a character called Rachel, and she basically leers at people every time she goes past on the train as she goes to the commute, and she basically she fantasizes about what this perfect couple played by Hayley Bennett and Luke Evans, like their lives must be like. And there's another couple involving her ex-husband and his new wife, and she basically goes past every day and tries to figure out what's going on with their lives.
Yeah,
and yeah. She's an observer essentially every day on the train. She does this every single day, so it's very much a sort of a routine for her as she goes to work every day.
Voyeuristic routine.
And of course, being a thriller and being what it is, there's a lot more to it than that, and you see as the film goes on just exactly how convoluted and messed up this thing is.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Throw in the fact that Emily Blunt plays an alcoholic.
Yeah, she plays a raging alcoholic.
And it complicates things, yeah.
You could have retitled this film Emily Blunt Cries, the movie, because she does that a lot.
She does.
Yeah, there's not one scene, essentially, where there's not makeup crying down her face.
It's true.
There is a lot of that. And, I mean, you can't really blame a character because things happen to her that you can understand sort of why she's constantly sad all the time, as you see when the mystery evolves. But to be honest, I think initially this film drew definite comparisons to Gone Girl when the trailer was released. That same sort of mysterious girl, like mystery, like involved with the husbands, and just that whole aesthetic just seemed to, like this seems like another Gone Girl, really just piggybacking off the success of that. And
I'll agree with piggybacking off the success. Yeah. I think the Gone Girl is a lazy comparison, but I'll get to it.
Fair enough. But I think to be honest, you can see after we've seen the film, you can see why some people would say that, but I don't agree with it in the whole because there's not really too much similar to it. I mean, it has got that whole mystery girl aesthetic, and there is. I think it was just that mistress of self reinvention line that got people straight away because Hayley Bennett's character does have quite a lot of similarities.
Yeah, she
does have quite a lot of similarities.
Very empty, distant.
Yeah, to Rosamund Pike's character in Gone Girl. There's definitely similarities, so I can see why people have got that. But to be honest, in the film, as I said earlier, it has changed location from London, where it was supposedly set in sort of like not a really affluent area, and it's changed to New York, which is, as we all know, it's a much sort of compared to like the lesser parts of London. New York's this big bright city, and to be honest, I think it seems very clean. I think that's the best way to put it. Yeah,
I suppose very.
It seems very manufactured, and I know one reviewer said that it doesn't seem like the houses are lived in. That she walks past, they all seem like puppets.
Yeah, they all feel like new builds. They all feel like very new area, kind of new popularized areas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I know what you mean.
It seems strange, but I think, to be honest, I did think this was it was just so really average for me, to be honest, because I feel like the twists it does have, I mean, in the narrative there is a lot of flashback. It uses a lot of flashbacks in the narrative, and it has a lot of things to say. In the book and the film, it utilizes the three narrators set up. It's got Megan, it's got the new wife of Emily Blunt's ex-husband, and it's got Emily Blunt herself. And they all have sort of that unreliable narrator sense about them. So they're all telling this story, but there's so many flashbacks. So you're constantly like sort of darting about between each other. And I know these girls in front of us were constantly having to tell each other who was speaking right now and from what time the film was talking about when it was going on in the story. And you can understand why I don't agree with them doing that. You can sort of see where they're coming from because
It's distracting.
It does convolute itself quite a bit. But to be honest, I think by the time it wraps up, I think it does gain a lot of real strength towards the end. And I think Emily Blunt's performance is great. I think that Haley Bennett does a really good job with that sort of mysterious allure that she has to her character. But to be honest, I just didn't really feel like the real hook for the whole film. I was just sort of like wondering where it was going to go, and I did get second guessed by where it was going to go, but I feel like, to be honest, it should have had a lot more to it than its initial mystery setup, because it is a decent enough thriller premise, to be honest. It's a decent enough premise, but there wasn't enough for me in the end to have made this a rewarding experience, because I just felt it's just a bit overly bland. To be honest, I think it was just it was too clean, and it didn't feel like a proper thriller. It just felt like something overly manufactured and really trying to piggyback off other successes.
Yeah. The word I'm looking for is sterile. That's the word. It's very
that's
sterile.
a good word.
A lot of very white and grey scenes. The Gone Girl thing, first of all, I think it's lazy. I think the thing it wants to be most, and I mean, Tate Taylor's obviously very ambitious, 2 very good films under his belt back to back. This...
What was the other good one?
Get On Up, the James Brown
fair enough, I haven't
biopic.
seen that yet. Yeah.
There's bits in this when you kind of think he wants it to resemble Hitchcock. There's a few shots where it sticks out and you go, well, you've tried. You have tried. The stories of a similar kind of vein. It's something that Hitchcock might have done back in the day, but obviously far better. There's a few musical cues where you think, that could definitely be something that he was involved with. I think you say below average. I think well below average. I think bordering on terrible. The problem with the film, and the flashbacks you've brought up are a problem. They're very, I mean, as you said, it jumps around all over the place, but also the film asks questions but then resolves them almost immediately in the form of the flashbacks or the very expository dialogue that just it kills the tension, the pace of the film stone dead. And when it gets to that finale, as you say, like, it builds a big bit of momentum and stuff. There's nothing. There really isn't. It's why would you care? Because all the answers all the questions have been answered. The sort of who did it doesn't really care. These characters are all really poorly written. Dialogue is terrible. I mean, you said Haley Bennett is good, but I think she's just given such a poor script to work with. I think all the dialogue is very poor. I think for her sort of star-making turn as it was intended to be, she gets degraded quite a lot. A lot of the scenes either start with her or end with her, in some form of sex that is not necessarily what you'd want. I think she deserved a lot better. I think there's something in Haley Bennett that could be good, but not in this film. Emily Blunt does a very reasonable job doing an impression of an alcoholic. I think she's done a very good job of impersonating an alcoholic while still being Emily Blunt. It's still Emily Blunt you're looking at doing the accent. It's just her. No, I thought it was, as you said, bland. I think very boring. I wanted to really engage with it and involve with it, but it doesn't hook you. It's boring and it's like I say, sterile. And I think the book obviously is being brought in to capitalise on the success of Gone Girl, but I think also as a sort of post 50 Shades kind of reactionary thing, like the next logical step. You've had your S&M with 50 Shades. You want to move on to something else to sort of continue reading.
Well, you've moved on until February 14th.
Yes, and you sort of think you're in Asda perhaps looking at the hardbacks, and you pick up The Girl on the Train, and this kind of this feels natural to that. I think a lot of the sex scenes in that are testament to the fact that it is very post 50 Shades. The next logical step. I think a lot of that is there to court that kind of market. A lot of it is to sort of titillate, but not for this guy, not at all.
I don't think it's as bad as you were saying, but I think I was thoroughly underwhelmed, to be honest. I did really like it towards the end. I think it did have enough about it. I thought
it was comical.
It did get quite good, but
and I think
I liked the soundtrack as well. I think it was near the end. It really got me going. But I just feel like overall it was just a bit of a letdown. Really.
It's a letdown, and it's not the empowering female film it wants to be. I think a lot of it is very misjudged, and that feels like a big problem. That feels like where the film lets itself down.
I don't think it was trying to be an empowering.
No, I think there's it should in some aspect, but it never does. I don't know. I didn't like it. I really disliked it. The Girl on the Train in cinemas now. Ryan, recommend?
Nah, I mean, if you're gonna see a film with girl in the title this week, go and see The Girl with All the Gifts.
Or buy Gone Girl. Or get the Hitchcock collections on Amazon for like 20.